So starting the test drive in this 4-cylinder Impala, like the Chevy Blazers when they first came out, these naturally aspirated 4s without, you know, having turbochargers and all that, they can feel a bit sluggish. And this doesn't necessarily drive sluggish, but the engine, you can definitely hear it putting in work as opposed to how the V6 runs. But with the 4-cylinder setup, it does allow you to get much better fuel economy than with the V6. But again, the V6, where it doesn't strain as much getting up to power, a lot of the times you can break even depending on how you drive, either or. Because the V6 doesn't get terrible fuel economy, the 4-cylinder just gets pretty good fuel economy. But again, you have to drive it accordingly. I'm gonna put it in the manual mode, and then we're gonna give it some throttle here. So certainly not slow, but again, it's certainly not as quick as the V6. But as we come down the interstate here, pretty good ride, not surprised there. And we can see the instantaneous fuel economy. So we're getting right around that 35 mile per gallon mark. And even on this incline, we're still getting 30. So very impressed by this fuel economy. And it'll start to be super high as we kind of level out here. So it's showing 60 right now. But you can expect to get about 30 to 35 miles per gallon, I would think. And with it being an Impala, again, just great ride quality. It's smooth, but it's still not numb in the steering wheel. It's a tad on the number side, but it feels like a Buick in every good way. And very smooth braking as well. I'm gonna test the horn out here because I didn't test that out earlier. So that's how that sounds. It's pretty loud, and I like that about it. Now the Impala, I think, it's still a pretty good option if you want to get one of these used. This one in particular from Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro has a lifetime powertrain warranty on it. So it's nice to have that coverage there if you are somebody who likes to put as many miles on their car as possible. And it's an easy vehicle to get used to, even though it is on the larger side. You just get so much space within the cabin as well as your cargo space. And it's still not a difficult vehicle to maneuver. It's longer, so it's a little harder to park, but other than that, no different than driving any other mid-sized vehicle. But in terms of the tech that you get here, I love that you have the Bluetooth audio. I like that you get the backup camera, even though this one needs to be serviced. And you get your dual zone climate controls, which is nice. No heated seats, but the way these are set up, you really don't need it as long as your heat's working, because they tend to be on the warmer side anyway, because you have the leatherette bolsters and then the cloth inserts. But the only thing I would do to this one, I would swap out the headlight bulbs because the halogens just can't, they don't do it for me. I'd put some LEDs in if I could. And maybe upgrade the speakers, something like that. But for the most part, especially if you're in this segment, you probably don't necessarily care about all that stuff. Just want something that rides good, gets great fuel economy, has tons of space in it. And this is one of those that checks all those boxes pretty well. And again, just from a driving perspective, even though it's not the V6, acceleration is not terrible, and you can put your foot in this and it'll get up. And especially with the manual mode, it's nice to be able to have full control of the car. But again, for a pre-owned bargain, it checks all the boxes for me, especially if you're someone who likes bigger cars that ride nice. So if you're one of those people, definitely make sure you take a look at this 2015 Chevrolet Impala in the LT trim level.